Thursday, 16 July 2026. 3 Asia-Pacific AI stories before your first coffee. Tokyo's diet enacted a revision to Japan's privacy law on 10 July, allowing companies to use personal data, including sensitive categories such as criminal records, race, and medical history, for AI training and statistical analysis without obtaining individual consent. The bill passed over objections from 4 parties, including coalition partner Komeito, and is expected to take effect around 2028. Japan's move runs directly counter to the consent frameworks in the EU and China and sharpens an emerging Asia-Pacific pattern of loosening data access rules to accelerate domestic AI development. Why it matters? This gives Japanese AI labs and enterprise builders a structural data advantage that their European counterparts simply do not have, lowering the cost and legal friction of assembling large-scale training datasets from domestic sources. Global model developers with Japanese subsidiaries will want to revisit data pipeline architectures now, well before the 2028 enforcement date, to capture the window. Regulators across Southeast Asia, particularly in Singapore and South Korea, will face pressure to clarify whether their own frameworks tilt toward the Japanese permissive model or the EU consent model. The second-order effect to track: cross-border data partnerships, where Japanese firms offer pre-trained models built on broader data pools to partners in jurisdictions where that same data could not have been collected locally. So, Seoul has opened bidding for AI for All, a program that will give every South Korean citizen a free, unlimited AI assistant. The Ministry of Science and ICT published the tender on 13 July 2026, inviting consortia to compete for 2 or 3 slots. Winners will receive 512 NVIDIA B200 GPUs from the state, with a public beta targeted for late September. At least half of each system must run on certified domestic Korean language models, binding the free access program directly to the country's sovereign AI mandate. Why it matters? This is the first national government to commit public funds to universal, zero-cost AI access through 2028, and the design creates a guaranteed demand floor for Korean model builders like Naver and its peers. Capital allocators should watch the domestic model certification requirement closely because it effectively reserves half the inference workload for homegrown vendors, a structural subsidy that could accelerate Korean model competitiveness against OpenAI and Anthropic in the Korean language segment. The second tier of the service, a proactive agent that identifies government benefits a citizen qualifies for and files paperwork automatically, sets a template other Asian governments are already studying. If the beta lands on schedule, expect similar procurement frameworks to surface in Japan and Taiwan within 12 months. Now, ByteDance released Seadream 5.0 Pro on 8 July, a professional image generation model built for studios and agencies rather than casual consumers. The model can decompose images into editable videos and render on-image text in more than 10 languages, including Arabic with correct right-to-left layout. It launched alongside the Seeding.its 2.5 video model and a new audio model, giving ByteDance an end-to-end creative AI toolkit that spans still image, motion, and sound. Why it matters? This shifts China's creative AI from viral consumer demos to production-grade tooling that competes directly with Adobe and Canva workflows. Studios and agencies across Asia-Pacific now have a locally built alternative that handles multilingual text rendering, a persistent weak spot in Western models, which matters for markets like Southeast Asia and the Middle East where campaigns run in multiple scripts. Rival Kuaishou is reportedly raising roughly $3 billion for its clone video model, confirming that capital is flooding into China's creative AI stack at a pace that will compress pricing for downstream users. The second-order effect to track: as these tools mature, post-production houses in Bangkok, Mumbai, and Jakarta face margin pressure from clients who can now generate and iterate assets in-house. That is your AI in Asia briefing for today. Stay sharp, build well, see you tomorrow.